yield time to a former non-commissioned officer who retired after over 2 decades of service in the Army, to a gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Walz, for 5 minutes.
Gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you to my colleague, and thank you, Mr. Speaker. No debate in this House is longer overdue. This debate has been going on for nearly 4 years, in houses, in grocery stores, in workplaces, in houses of worship all across America. No greater responsibility rests with us, the people's representatives, than debating the decisions involved in waging a war. The decision to send our brave women and men into combat is not the end of our responsibility, it is the beginning. This body has a sacred duty to protect this nation, our citizens, and especially those we send into combat in our name. Constant vigilance, questioning, and adjustments to courses of action are our #1 priority, and this newly elected Congress intends to do just that. Some have said that this debate sends a message to our enemies, and I would agree. The message our enemies hearing this week is that democracy in America is alive and well. The message that our enemy is hearing this week is that this nation will not live in fear of its own shadow and blindly give away those precious liberties that make this the greatest nation the world has ever known. The message our enemy is hearing this week is this nation is able and willing to adjust our tactics to focus on the true threats to our security, which come from Al-Qaeda and the Taliban in Afghanistan, and by securing our ports and borders. The message they are hearing is that this nation is no longer willing to wage a war based on political ideology and failed policy. We will wage it on facts and reality. Many of my colleagues have spoken of the need to support our troops. You'll get no debate from me nor any other American. By implying that some don't support the troops based on nothing more than political posturing is cynical and divisive. For more than 2 decades, I served with soldiers, airmen, Marines, and not once did I ever see these brave men and women as anything other than patriots. I never saw them as a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, or a libertarian. Nor did they see me as anything but a fellow soldier. The issue that we're debating this week is the execution of this war and the failure of this administration to provide a realistic plan for success. From the start of this war up to this recent plan to send more Americans into Baghdad, this administration has miscalculated, poorly planned, shifted blame, and failed to couple our military policies with diplomatic, economic, and long-range strategic planning that would give our soldiers a chance to succeed. Had the previous Congress done its constitutional duty of oversight and accountability, there's a strong likelihood we would be in much better shape today. Even as foreign policy experts, military experts, the Congress, and the American public show an overwhelming desire to change course and oppose this escalation, this administration ignores all evidence and stumbles on. This debate marks the new beginning of this Congress's acceptance of our duty to provide the oversight and bring about policy changes based in reality and facts and long-range security needs of this nation. I've taken 2 oaths in my life. The first one was a young man of 17 when I swore my allegiance to the armed forces of this country. The second was a month ago when I became a United States Congressman. In both cases, I solemnly swore my allegiance to protect and defend the U.S. Constitution. I swore allegiance to no man. I swore no allegiance to a political ideology. I swore only to uphold the laws of this great land and protect with my life, if necessary, the liberties and freedoms we so dearly cherish. This debate today is exactly about that oath. Previous Congresses gave this president the authority to conduct this war in Iraq, which is right, but not the authority to disregard the expert advice, not the authority to take civil liberties from American citizens, and not the authority to disregard our constitutional right in this body as a co-equal branch of government. I, like all Americans, wish nothing more than this president had made good decisions and that the situation in Iraq was better. Unfortunately, wishful thinking does not make good foreign policy. But fortunately, the geniuses of the founders of this nation are on display right now. This Congress, by taking this first step of oversight and accountability and passing this resolution, will begin to right the ship of state and take this country on a path that will lead to greater security and begin to return our brave men and women back to their families. A few short months ago, I was teaching high school. Call me optimistic and naive, but I don't see where casting a vote in this sacred room is anything but binding. And call me naive again when I hear this is nothing but words on paper. How does that differ from the U.S. Constitution? Yesterday, I had the opportunity to visit with 2 soldiers from my old unit, the proud 34th Red Bull Division. These two young men are out at Walter Reed Army Hospital. Both John and Tony are being fitted with their prosthetic limbs for the other ones they left behind in Iraq. We spoke of everything about how they were injured, to football, to how they get ready to ski again. I don't know and I don't care about their political ideology. I only care that this nation honors its commitment by providing everything possible to these brave Americans. Today is the day that I tell Tony and John, we will always support you and we will provide true security to this nation. Thank you.